Hi everybody, Desert Guardian here. So we are going to be putting together a Polymer80 PF940c, which is the Glock 19 size frame. And I also have a slide from Brownells, their new iron sight slide for the Glock 19 with the front and top serrations. Absolutely beautiful. So today I'm going to put on some TFO sights that I've had for quite a while here. So I wanted to run through that process. So I don't have a sight removal tool, so I'm going to use my hammer and punch, which works actually pretty well if you're careful. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sight. Now on the Glocks, they're tapered, so you always want to install the sight from the left and remove it from the right. So put my trusty roll of tape here, got the sight here, I already backed out the set screw. I'm going to drop it in on the left side, gently with my hammer and punch, tap it into place. Now I'm going to get it about 99% here. I can always run it by Pistol Parlor later and they can adjust it perfectly for me, but this gets me, like I said, 99% of the way there by eyeballing it. So, just give it a few taps. Take a look, give it a few more taps. So I knock over my other slide. There we go. So we're about 99% there, maybe just a little bit more. Okay. So now, tighten down the set screw. I'm using a brass punch, so it does get a little bit of brass on stuff, but it cleans up really nice. So, get that tightened down and move on to the front sight. Now you want a little bit of Loctite in this one. So I grab my red Loctite and I put a drop right in the hole here. The reason I put it on the sight itself and not the little screw is because I can put the sight in its little hole and it'll stay there. But if I fumble around with the screw, sometimes I wipe the Loctite off. And maybe it's just me being paranoid, I don't know, but this is just the way I prefer to do it. So, here's my little sight installation tool. The screw still has a little Loctite on it from before, so it's giving me some trouble. So we'll drop this right into the end, like so. Take your front sight, get that right in the hole, get it to stay in place, and snug that down. So now, with the rear sight pressed in, set screw set, front sight Loctited and installed, we are good to go. TFO sights on the new Brownells slide. So next we're going to start machining up the frame, and I've got all the small parts should be here momentarily, and we'll get it all put together and get a nice video production. Thanks for tuning in. Desert Guardian out. Hi everybody, welcome back. Desert Guardian here. So we've got the sights installed on the Brownells forward serration iron sight slide, and now it's time to assemble the slide itself. So as you can see, I've got the parts laid out here. We've got the barrel from Backup Tactical, stainless threaded barrel there. I've got a stainless recoil spring and guide rod from Lone Wolf, the firing pin safety and spring, the extractor here. I've got the plunger and spring. We've got the firing pin spring, spacer sleeve, and firing pin cups, and a couple extra Backup Tactical thread protectors to try out for the look on the slide. So we'll go ahead and get this assembled. Now, what I like to start with is the firing pin assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside here. Now this can be really tricky. There have been many times where I've shot these little spring cups across the room. So hopefully you won't witness that today. There's a couple of tricks to doing this. So first we take the sleeve and put the firing pin through it. You can see it just slides through just like that. Spring goes on like so. And then the cups are going to go right here, right up top there. So this is one of those, it's going to take a fourth hand to do it. So what I like to do is I like to get something that I can brace it with. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out my rag to protect my wife's wooden table and a pair of large pliers so I can set it right here. Because every time you push the spring back, the trigger is going to move back with it because it slides in here. So if we stick it right down here, I can push the spring back and put one cup and the other cup on either side of the pin and let it go. Move that back aside. And there's the completed firing pin assembly. Next up, we've got the extractor depressor plunger, and its little spring here snaps right on, and the plunger goes in the end of the spring. So those guys are assembled. That's another thing that you can shoot across the room if you're not careful. I'll show you that when we finish the assembly. And back to the slide. So we've got the first parts to go in are going to be the extractor, which is this little fella right here, and this one shows the loaded indicator on it. It's got the little hump on it, so that just drops right in like so, and then we take the trigger safety and trigger safety spring, which goes right in the end there. Flip this guy up nice and carefully, push this like a button, and then the extractor just holds it in place. Nice and easy. All right, so now we flip it up. The firing pin assembly drops right in the main tube, and the plunger goes in the smaller hole right beside it. Now, metal end goes in, little plunger top goes out, and that just drops right in. So now we can put the back plate on. So I've got my awesome classy Raptor blacked out American flag here. So this one, you just take your thumb and depress the firing pin assembly like so. And this can get a little tricky. This is the other part that I say can get shot across the room is the plunger assembly. So if you take your Glock assembly tool and shove that down carefully, because otherwise you're going to be chasing it like I have done several times. Then snap in the back plate. There we go, we're good to go. Next up, take the backup tactical threaded stainless barrel. Of course, take the thread protector off. This just drops right in, unless I manage to get it stuck. And then of course the guide rod and spring, all one piece, right up in the front. Snaps in, and we are good to go with the fully assembled slide. So I figured I would take a look at a couple of the backup tactical thread protectors on it. I mean, I could go with silver, but this is their, whoa, slippery revolver one, which I think is really cool. So that is option one. And this is their flat dark earth color. Now, it has kind of a gold hue to it, but when you're anodizing stuff, I'm sure it's harder to get a true flat dark earth because you're not doing a flat paint job. Now this one here, it's like a Celtic knot to it. Also really cool. In their OD green color. Well, I gotta admit, I kind of like the look of that one. All right, so there we go. We have the fully assembled slide, and we'll get that put on the frame, and we're rocking and rolling. Once again, thanks for dropping by, and hope this helped you out a little bit. Desert Guardian, out.